Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
Welcome back to another episode of the show and language. Be well aware, in a couple days I'll be talking about the show Quantum Leap for the first season of it. So there'll be episodes 1 through episodes 9. And this is quite ironic because we're about to talk about the show Star Trek Enterprise. So yeah, it's talking about 2 episodes from this series. In this case, the Andorian incident and breaking the ice. Let's go ahead and discuss the first episode, which is the Andorian incident. This episode was directed by Roxanne Dawson. And it was a story, and the story was by Rick Berman, Brian Braga, and Fred Decker, and teleplay by Fred Decker. So, what was this episode actually about?
They haven't been heard from since the original Star Trek series. Now, the Andorians are back.
Don't get your antennas in a twist.
With a vengeance.
I'll enjoy having you as a prisoner.
Enterprise, an all-new episode.
Well, Archer and Tucker, after finding the Vulcan star maps are kind of incomplete on Enterprise, they decided to talk to T'Pol into taking a trip to Pejim. It's a Vulcan monastery. But when they get there, they discover the monastery has a bit of an unwelcome guest. In this case, the Andorians. The way they look are the typical classic alien with big blue antennas. So, and yeah, apparently, they had appeared in the original Star Trek. Not sure when, because we probably haven't gotten that far. We haven't even gotten to talk about season 2 or season 3. But moving on. So, what in honesty did I think about this episode? Well, I kind of, in my opinion, so what the whole episode of this was about was the Andorians, they're on this planet because they believe that the Vulcans have been spying on them, and they're trying to find the evidence to try to figure out, okay, we know y'all are doing this. We need to find the evidence to make sure to back up our claims and all that. So, and during this episode, both Tucker, Archer, and T'Pol, they are all held hostage along with the rest of the Vulcans, and basically held hostage to try to say, hey, we want to know where this stuff is. And basically during the time period, Archer, he basically decided to say, hey, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm gonna try to help the Vulcans in a way, even though he's not really telling them. However, it's later. So basically they're trying to say, okay, we need to figure out what is actually going on here. However, one thing that is actually discovered and figured out is that apparently the Vulcans actually have been peeking on the Andorians.
Does that thing have imaging sensors?
Yes.
Take all the pictures you can.
Place your weapons on the ground. I will kill him if no.
So their suspicions were correct. And, like, say, the head guy in charge of the Andorians, he just says, like, say...
Go ahead.
The Andorian ship will be leaving the surface momentarily. They're free to go.
Acknowledged.
We're in your debt.
I'm in your debt, dude. So... yeah. And... I'm gonna be honest. I really think, and honestly, I think this episode has some, like, say, the cinematography, perhaps the whole, I'm trying to figure out how to say this, the production value of, like, say, the buildings, or the, like, say, the chasms, and all that, all of this monastery, they look great. It looks like, say, the production designer did a very great job, in honesty. I kind of think, say, this episode kind of helps give, like, say, some details of, like, say, the Vulcans on, like, say, hey, they weren't always how they were in the original Trek, so I feel like, say, so far in Enterprise, the, Vulcans, they are kind of sneaky.
It leads to the reliquary. Only members of the High Order are allowed to go inside.
We'll do our best not to look at anything.
I can't permit it, Captain.
What would you suggest we do?
I'll disarm them myself.
You ever use one of those? I didn't think so. The Andorians have seen your sacred relics. A couple humans won't make much of a difference.
And have their own ways of doing things. They still have the views of logic and all that, but it seems like they are crafty individuals as well. And I got to say that this episode is a really great way of saying, like, okay, why Archer is, like, a cool character, honestly. Mostly because of the fact that he is willing to take the abuse from the Andorians and all that. So, there's that. Yeah. I gotta say, this episode is pretty good, and it's... if you're looking for an episode for a alien that, like, say, if you hadn't watched the original Trek, and I wanted to start backwards and then go forward, I guess this is the way to do it. So, let's move on to the next episode, which is Breaking the Ice. This episode was directed by Terry Wendell. It was written by a couple. In this case, Maria Giacominton and Andre Giacominton. I probably butchered that awfully. I apologize. And the music was done by Dennis McCarthy. So, what was this episode about?
Take us closer, Ensign.
Out of direct sunlight, the surface ice will be more stable.
You up for a little comet walk?
What's that?
An all-new Enterprise.
This episode is about, like, say, the crew interacting with a comet, and, and, like, say, two members of the crew, Lieutenant Reed and Mayweather, they stop on the comet to mine it, to get some, I guess, some, like, say, some kind of thing, called Elysium? Basically, it's, like, say, some type of, like, say, some, not sure how to explain it, honestly. But, basically, they're just trying to mine on this rock. But a Vulcan ship, in this case, the smaller, stops by to observe the Enterprise, but one thing is also happening is Tucker, it's like the B plot. In this case, Tucker unexpectedly becomes, like, he is like one of the only crew members that discovers that T'Pol has to make a decision between either staying with the crew or going back to her home planet of Vulcan to agree to an arranged marriage that had happened many years ago. So this episode has a bit of character development between Tucker and T'Pol, and the fact that previously they had bits of issues between each other. So this episode is, like, say the last episode, which was had to, the main three. This one has, like, a sort of, like, say, some of the ideas is, like, say, Archer, he is still having to figure, say, can we trust the Vulcans? The Vulcans, can we trust them or not?
Just taking a look at this comet.
Our sensors detected it 2 days ago. We also decided to investigate.
Really? My science officer tells me that Vulcans aren't very interested in comets.
Actually, it's your interest in the comet we're investigating.
And at the same time, like, say, he's wanting to, like, do this. He wants to make sure that he has his crew is able to prove they can do what needs to be done. And, yeah, there's some funny elements at times, I'm sorry for say again, but, say Mayweather and Reed, they make a snowman at one point in the episode, using some of the comet's, I guess, rock formations. So that's pretty cool. There is a same moment where they are making a, like, education video to a school, and they're all explaining what they do, and honestly. So you have that bit of detail, and like I said, T'Pol and Tucker, their relationship starts to become less strained and become more trustworthy towards each other, and going to talk to each other about their secrets and all that. So, yes. And I'm gonna be honest, the way it's really done is honestly pretty good. It seems like T'Pol is really, although she is a Vulcan and sometimes she has her, we'll be aware that she is, her ability to say, hey, control your emotions, but it seems like she has, on the way, also, she has trouble trying to let her emotions out to say, hey, is this what I want? Is that what I want? And all say. But she eventually says, nah, I don't want to get married. I'm going to save my crew because, this is what I like. This is what I want. This makes me happy. And so, but Archer eventually decides to let his contentment, or not contentment, but his judgment of the Vulcans go.
Vanek offered to assist us. There's no shame in accepting.
We can do this on our own.
I don't like him any more than you do, Captain. But a tractor beam sounds like a pretty good idea right now.
Vanek expects you to refuse his offer. He sees humans as arrogant, prideful. Why not prove him wrong? You can save them.
And decides to take their help to save his crew, because part of his crew that is down in that comet, they get stuck, and so...
Go ahead, Enterprise.
This is Captain Vanek of the Vulcan ship Timur. Stand by to ignite your engines and return to your ship.
Some of the crew, they get off the planet, and yeah, he realizes, say, maybe I should, take help every now and then. So, and honestly, these two episodes, they are pretty good. They aren't pretty good in the fact that they help develop more character development for characters. So that's pretty good. It's always good when a show is willing to delve more into a character's backstory and all that, or character development, especially in the first season of a show. But what do you guys think of these 2 episodes of Star Trek? Put your thoughts in those comments down below. Let me know. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See you later.